I know that this team is fairly young, but will they actually accomplish more than just making the playoffs this season? They haven't made it past the ALDS since 2013, and until they do that, I'm not calling this team a World Series contender, even with the JD Martinez pickup. This lineup is an excellent lineup, and JD Martinez just added on to that because there's Mookie Betts, of course, and then there's also Hanley Ramirez and JD Martinez, as mentioned before. And I mean, he's going to be an excellent fit in Fenway Park since right-handed bats, like his especially, do well in Fenway. And then there's also Xander Bogaerts and Rafael Devers, and Eduardo Nunez, another really nice pickup. And I mean, they have Christian Vasquez and Jackie Bradley. So this lineup from top to bottom is a really good one of the best in baseball. And so I give it a grade of an A. And then when it comes to their bench, they have a pretty solid bunch in the major league level. I mean, Sandy Leon, Blake Swihart, Mitch Moreland, Devin Marrero, I guess. Dustin Pedroia and Marco Hernandez are both injured, but once they come back, that'll upgrade their depth even more. In the minors, I mean, it's pretty solid. There's a couple of top prospects that are projected to come up this year, in Michael Chavis and Sam Travis. So we'll see how it goes for them. But otherwise, I mean, there's just Brock Holt and Dan Butler, Zhu Wei Lin, if that's how you pronounce that name. And I mean, Resny Castillo, I guess, and Neri Tavares. And so, I mean, they do have pretty solid depth in areas. I mean, they do have pretty solid depth overall. So I'm giving it a grade of a B-, because it could be a little bit better in the minor league system. But then when it comes to their rotation, it's a really good rotation in its own rights. Chris Sale, of course, he's really what puts this rotation at where I have it right now. Also, David Price is still a really good pitcher, and they also have Rick Porcello and Ryan Johnson, Hector Velasquez, so we'll see how it goes for them. Drew Pomeranz and Eduardo Rodriguez and Stephen Wright are all injured right now. Rodriguez is actually, I mean, they're looking to come back this year, so we'll see what happens with those guys. If they do come back, then that'll push this rotation even further. But as of right now, I mean, also before I get into that, in terms of prospects, they don't really have anybody. Maybe Mike Warren could come up this year. We'll see about that though. So, I mean, Chris Sale and David Price are ultimately what put this rotation up at a high level, or at a good level, a really good level per se. So I'm going to give their rotation a grade of a B+. Kind of like the Dodgers in the sense that, well, one, maybe two guys are promising, but the rest are not. I mean, if they get guys healthy again, then it'll probably go up to an A-, but as of right now, it's just a B+ to me. And so then when it comes to their bullpen, there's Craig Kimbrell, of course, but there's also Joe Kelly, Carson Smith, Matt Barnes. We'll see how they do. There is an injury to Tyler Thornburg, who is recovering from thoracic outlet syndrome surgery, so we'll see how that goes for them. But their bullpen, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So I give it a grade of a B+ in its own right. So yeah, roster has the lineup as its main strength, and that's ultimately going to be their main factor, along with their easy schedule that they face this year, in this team being really good. So this lineup is great, but the depth isn't as good as other teams. On paper, this team should be very good, but the only reason why I have them this high is because of their schedule that they face. I don't think that they will do very much come playoff time until they improve their depth. Their pitching staff to me isn't as good as some of the other contending teams in the AL either. Even with their guys coming back, I just still don't think it's better than like the Indians, or, I mean, I think the Yankees rotation is actually better also, and that's just off the top of my head, even the Astros. But, I mean, it all depends on if the rotation outside of Chris Sale and David Price produce enough, even with the guys that are injured that could be coming back this season. So the over-under is 93 and 69. I'm going over at 95 and 67, second in the AL East, and grabbing that top AL wildcard spot. Let me know if you agree. Let me know why I'm not being optimistic enough with this team. It is a predictions video, and that's what predictions are all about. Debate and discussion, since nothing's proven yet. But that'll do it for this Red Sox edition of 2018 MLB season previews, and so long.